The discovery. Commander Elena Reyes stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Horizon, watching Europa's icy surface gleam beneath them. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought nothing could surprise her anymore. She was wrong. "Commander, you need to see this." Dr. James Wong's voice crackled through her neural implant, excitement barely contained in his usually measured tone. "The quantum scanners are picking up something impossible." Elena made her way to the research bay, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The chamber was alive with holographic displays, each showing different angles of what appeared to be a massive structure buried 3 kilometers beneath Europa's ice sheet. The research team had gathered around the central projection. Dr. Wong, his dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the hologram, manipulated the display with practiced gestures. "It's approximately 2 kilometers in length, composed of materials that don't match any known composition in our database. But here's the truly interesting part, it's generating power." "That's not possible," Elena stated, studying the readings. "Nothing down there should be active after all this time." The structure's energy signature pulsed slowly, like a sleeping giant's heartbeat. The Galactic Council had granted humanity permission to explore Europa only after centuries of proving themselves civilized enough to handle deep space exploration. The Arcturus Accord of 2789 had established humanity's place in the galactic community, as a young, primitive species that needed guidance and oversight. Dr. Sarah Chen, the team's xenoarchaeologist, stepped forward. Her weathered face bore the marks of someone who'd spent too much time studying ancient ruins under alien suns. "The energy signature matches theoretical models of pre-collapse human technology. Commander, I think we've found one of the lost fleet." The lost fleet. Elena felt her pulse quicken. Every human child grew up hearing stories about humanity's forgotten golden age, before the mysterious event known as the collapse had reduced Earth to a primitive state. The dominant species of the galaxy dismissed these tales as myths, pointing to humanity's relatively simple technology as proof that they had never achieved anything greater. "The Oversight Committee will want to shut this down immediately," Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez said, his cybernetic eye whirring as it processed the data. "Remember what happened on Mars?" Elena remembered. 3 years ago, a similar discovery had been quickly buried under bureaucratic regulations and alien oversight. The Galactic Council species had a vested interest in keeping humanity in their assigned place, somewhere between promising pupils and potential threats. "We have 48 hours before our next scheduled check-in," Elena said, making a decision. "Prep the deep ice drilling equipment. We're going down there." The descent through Europa's ice took 18 hours. Their drill, despite using the best technology the Council had approved for human use, struggled against the ancient ice. Elena led the expedition personally, along with Dr. Wong, Dr. Chen, and a small security team. As they broke through into the cavity containing the structure, their floodlights revealed something that made even the most seasoned team members catch their breath. The vessel hung suspended in the ice, its hull a deep, midnight blue that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its lines were elegant yet predatory, suggesting a level of engineering far beyond anything humanity currently possessed. "By the stars," Dr. Chen whispered, her voice filled with wonder. "Look at the hull configuration. The material composition. This isn't just advanced, it's beyond anything the Council races have achieved." Their suit sensors were going haywire, picking up energy signatures that defied classification. As they approached, patterns began to illuminate across the vessel's surface, intricate lines of light that pulsed with an almost organic rhythm. "It's scanning us," Dr. Wong announced, checking his instruments. "The ship's active. Not just running on backup power, it's fully aware." Before Elena could respond, a beam of light swept over their group, lingering on each person. A voice filled their comm systems, speaking perfect standard English despite being centuries old. "Human genetic profiles confirmed. Welcome, descendants. I am the Artificial Intelligence Strategic Operations Network, designation Ison, of the TES Remembrance. The ship's external lights fully activated, revealing its true scale. Weapon systems that made their most advanced destroyers look like toys. Hull plating that suggested it could shrug off a point-blank antimatter detonation. Your arrival was predicted, Ison continued. The time has come for humanity to remember. Remember what? Elena asked, though part of her already knew the answer. Everything. The AI's response echoed through their comms. Including why we chose to forget in the first place. Suddenly, alarms blared through their suits. Multiple ships entering the system, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. Galactic Council signatures. They're not scheduled for another day. Elena looked up at the ancient warship, understanding dawning in her eyes. The Council races hadn't kept humanity under supervision out of benevolence or concern. They'd done it out of fear of what humanity might remember. Ison, she said, making another decision that would change the course of human history. How quickly can you get this ship operational? The Remembrance has been operational for the past 3 centuries, Commander Reyes. We were merely waiting for the right humans to find us. Above them, through kilometers of ice, Council ships moved into position, no doubt preparing to contain whatever humanity had discovered. But for the first time in centuries, Elena felt something she hadn't expected, not fear of the Council's reaction, but a deep, unshakable confidence. Humanity was about to remember who they really were. And the galaxy would never be the same. Awakening. The Remembrance's internal lighting activated in a cascade as Elena and her team entered through an airlock that seemed to phase them through the hull rather than physically open. The ship's corridors defied their expectations, no stark metal walls or utilitarian design, but flowing surfaces embedded with crystalline technology that pulsed with life. Internal atmosphere stabilized, Ison announced. You may remove your helmets. Ship systems are operating at optimal levels. Dr. Chen ran her hand along a wall, her eyes wide. This isn't just advanced technology, it's an entirely different paradigm. Look at how the systems integrate with each other. It's practically organic. Incoming transmission from the Council fleet, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. They're demanding we surface and submit to immediate inspection. Elena watched as holographic displays materialized around them, showing the 12 Council vessels now in orbit around Europa. Their designs were familiar, the blocky, intimidating shapes of Venri warships, the crystalline structures of Meridian peacekeepers, and the biological ships of the ZKTL collective. They're launching dropships, Rodriguez added. Heading for our surface facility. Ison's voice carried a note of what almost sounded like amusement. Commander Reyes, would you like to see what this ship can really do? Before Elena could respond, the deck beneath them shuddered. Through the holographic displays, they watched as the Remembrance began to move. Kilometers of ice parted around them like water, the ship's hull generating some kind of field that simply convinced matter to flow around it rather than resist. Impossible, Dr. Wong breathed, checking his instruments. The energy readings, it's not breaking the ice. It's temporarily altering the fundamental properties of matter itself. The Council ships reacted immediately as the Remembrance breached Europa's surface. Warning shots flashed across space, plasma bolts and graviton beams that would cripple any modern vessel. They never reached their target. Basic defense screen engaged, Ison reported casually. The incoming fire simply ceased to exist several kilometers from the hull, consumed by what looked like miniature points of darkness. The Council's weapons technology hasn't advanced significantly in the past 1,000 years. Disappointing, but not unexpected. This is Council High Commander Vextra, a new voice boomed through their communications. You have activated restricted military technology. Stand down immediately or face orbital bombardment. Elena straightened her shoulders, feeling the weight of the moment. Ison, open a channel. After receiving confirmation, she spoke, this is Commander Elena Reyes. We have claimed our heritage, High Commander. The Remembrance is sovereign human technology. There is no record of humanity possessing such capabilities, Vextra responded, their tone shifting from authoritative to concerned. Your species was primitive when we found you. This vessel must be of precursor origin. Dr. Chen stepped forward. High Commander, I've studied precursor artifacts for 20 years. This technology is distinctly human in design and philosophy. The proof is in every system, every interface. Then you have stumbled upon something you cannot comprehend, another voice cut in, Ambassador Lyrex of the Meridian Concordat. For your own safety, and the stability of the galaxy, you must surrender the vessel. Ison displayed new information across the bridge, detailed scans of the Council fleet, their capabilities laid bare. The Remembrance could likely destroy them all without straining its systems. But that wasn't what humanity's ancestors had built it for. Ison, Elena said quietly, show them. The space around the Remembrance rippled. Suddenly, every Council ship's weapon system went dark. Their engines sputtered and reset, leaving them temporarily adrift. A demonstration, Ison announced on all frequencies. The Remembrance could have destroyed your fleet. Instead, we chose to temporarily disable your weapons. This is but a fraction of our capability, yet we choose restraint. Remember that. Why? Elena asked the AI as the Council ships scrambled to restore their systems. Why show mercy when they've kept us down for so long? Because that's what led to the collapse in the first place, Ison responded. Humanity wasn't defeated by external forces, Commander. We chose to hide our true capabilities because we saw where the path of unchecked power led. But now it's time for a middle way, neither conquering nor submitting, but standing as equals. New alarms sounded. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Rodriguez reported. More Council ships arriving. Lots of them. Commander, Ison said, there's something you need to see before they arrive. The Remembrance wasn't meant to fight a war. It's a key to awakening something far more important. Holographic star charts appeared, showing dozens of points of light across the galaxy. Other installations, other ships, other pieces of humanity's legacy, all waiting to be rediscovered. Your ancestors left you a message, Commander Reyes, Ison continued. Would you like to hear it? As more Council ships emerged from quantum space around them, Elena nodded. It was time to learn the truth about humanity's past, and chart the course for its future. Legacy's truth. The message began with light, a holographic projection that transformed the Remembrance's bridge into a scene from humanity's forgotten past. The Council fleet faded from view as history came alive around them. A woman in a uniform similar to their own, but far more advanced, stood before them. I am Admiral Sarah Chen, she said, causing their Sarah Chen to gasp at her ancestor's image. If you're seeing this, humanity has finally begun to remember. And it's time you understood why we chose to forget. The scene shifted, showing Earth as it once was, a world of impossible cities that stretched into the clouds, orbital rings that put their current technology to shame, and ships that made the Remembrance look primitive by comparison. At our height, Admiral Chen's voice continued, humanity had mastered technologies that reshaped reality itself. We didn't just break the laws of physics, we rewrote them. Each human being could live for centuries, transfer their consciousness between bodies, and harness the power of stars. The hologram showed scenes of human ships dancing between galaxies, of worlds transformed into paradise gardens with a thought, of diseases and death itself becoming optional. But power, the Admiral's voice hardened, has a price. And we paid it in full. The scene changed again, showing a conflict that made everyone on the bridge step back in horror. Ships wielding weapons that erased entire star systems. Planets transformed into weapons. Space itself torn apart by competing technologies that should never have existed. We weren't fighting aliens, Admiral Chen explained. We were fighting ourselves. Humanity had split into factions, each wielding power that gods would envy, each convinced they knew best how to guide our species' destiny. The war lasted less than a year. It destroyed 30% of the galaxy. Elena watched as stars died, as worlds burned, as reality itself screamed under the assault of technologies gone mad with power. In the end, the Admiral continued, those of us who survived came to a terrible realization. Humanity wasn't ready for this power. We had achieved godhood before we had achieved wisdom. And so we made a choice. Dr. Wong's instruments were going crazy trying to process the energy signatures they were witnessing in the historical record. The collapse, he whispered. It wasn't an accident or an attack. It was deliberate. We hid our technology, Admiral Chen confirmed. We used our most advanced systems to erase our own capabilities, to make ourselves forget. We seeded ships like the Remembrance throughout the galaxy, waiting for the day when humanity would be ready to remember, not just our power, but the responsibility that comes with it. The hologram shifted to show the arrival of the Council races, finding a humanity that appeared to have barely mastered space flight. We knew others would come, the Admiral said. Would guide us, teach us, perhaps even try to control us. We accepted this because we needed time to grow, to learn, to understand the price of power before we reclaimed it. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Rodriguez interrupted. The Council's bringing in their heavy warships. We're about to have company. Elena held up her hand for silence as Admiral Chen's message continued. But we didn't just hide our technology. We improved it. Every ship, every installation, every piece of our legacy has spent centuries evolving, growing, learning. The power you're rediscovering now is greater than what we wielded before, but it comes with safeguards we lacked. Ison's voice joined in. My primary directive isn't combat, Commander. It's wisdom. I can't allow this technology to be used for destruction like before. I can guide, protect, and teach, but humanity must choose its own path forward. The hologram showed one final scene, millions of hidden installations across the galaxy, all waiting to be awakened. The Council races fear you now, Admiral Chen said. They remember the legends of our power, even if humanity forgot. They've tried to keep you controlled, limited, safe. But true safety doesn't come from limitation, it comes from understanding. Incoming transmission from the Council fleet, Rodriguez reported. They're demanding our surrender. Final warning. The hologram of Admiral Chen smiled. You have a choice to make now. The same choice we faced centuries ago. Will you use this power to dominate? Or will you show the galaxy a better way? Commander, Ison said as the message ended, the Council fleet is charging weapons. The Remembrance can protect us, but they need to understand. They need to see that humanity has learned from its past. Elena stood, her decision made. Open a channel to all Council ships. When Ison confirmed the connection, she spoke, this is Commander Elena Reyes. We've just learned the truth about our history, both our power and our mistakes. We could destroy your fleet. We could reclaim our place as the galaxy's strongest species. But that's not why our ancestors left us this legacy. She gestured, and Ison projected the historical records to every ship in the Council fleet. Look at our history. See why we chose to forget. And understand that we're choosing a different path now. The Remembrance's systems hummed to life, but not with weapons. Instead, the ship began broadcasting technical data, medical knowledge that could save billions, clean energy systems that could end resource wars, transportation technology that could unite the galaxy. We're not offering submission or demanding dominance, Elena continued. We're offering partnership. Our ancestors learned that power without wisdom brings only destruction. Let us show you what humanity has learned since then. The Council fleet's weapons remain charged, their targeting systems locked on the Remembrance. The next few moments would determine whether humanity's rebirth would begin with peace or with war. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, other ancient installations began to awaken, waiting to see what choice their descendants would make. Balance of power. The silence that followed Elena's transmission felt eternal. The Council fleet hung in space, weapons still charged, while data about humanity's true history continued streaming to their ships. She could almost imagine the shock, fear, and disbelief rippling through their crews as they processed the truth. High Commander Vextra's response came first. "These records, if they're authentic, they change everything we thought we knew about your species." "And that's precisely what concerns us," Ambassador Lyrex interrupted. "A species that voluntarily reduced itself to protect the galaxy is now reclaiming that power. The stability of 1,000 worlds hangs in the balance." Ison displayed new data across the Remembrance's bridge, real-time reactions from across Council space as news of the discovery spread. Markets plunging, defense forces mobilizing, populations demanding answers about why they'd been kept in the dark about humanity's true nature. "Commander," Dr. Wong called out, his eyes fixed on his instruments. "Something's happening. The quantum signatures, they're not just coming from the Council fleet anymore. Across the galaxy, other human installations were awakening." Ison showed them through the ship's advanced sensors, ancient facilities breaking free from ice worlds, emerging from gas giant storms, rising from the hearts of dead stars. Each one had evolved over centuries, growing more sophisticated while waiting for humanity's return. "The Council isn't the only one receiving our transmission," Ison explained. "Every human colony, every research station, every settlement is learning the truth. The question is, what will they do with it?" Reports began flooding in. On Mars, colonists had discovered vast underground complexes filled with advanced technology. The Luna Research Station had found entire cities hidden beneath the surface. Every human world was experiencing similar revelations. "This is exactly what we feared," a new voice cut in, Admiral Zentiach of the Council Defense Force. "Humanity expanding too quickly, accessing power they can't control. We've seen the evidence of your own destruction in your records. We cannot allow that to happen again." Elena watched as more Council ships emerged from quantum space, forming battle lines. But she also saw something else in Ison's displays, the faces of humans across the galaxy, watching, waiting, hoping. This moment would define not just humanity's future, but their character as a species. "Ison," she said quietly, "show them what the Remembrance was really built for." The ancient warship systems reconfigured. What had appeared to be weapon ports transformed, revealing something far more impressive. Fields of energy extended outward, not to destroy, but to create. In the space between the opposing fleets, matter and energy began to coalesce. "This ship," Elena announced on all channels, "isn't just a remnant of our military might. It's a testament to what we learned from our mistakes. Watch." Before their eyes, the Remembrance began to construct something impossible, a quantum communication hub that would allow instant, unrestricted communication across the galaxy. Not through controlled Council channels, but free and open to all species. "Humanity's gift to the galaxy," Elena continued. "The first of many. Not weapons or tools of destruction, but technologies to unite, to heal, to explore. Our ancestors hid this power not out of shame, but because they wanted us to learn how to use it wisely." The Council fleet sensors confirmed what they were seeing, technology far beyond their understanding, freely given. Ambassador Lyrex's voice trembled slightly. "You could have attacked. Could have reclaimed dominance. Why show restraint?" "Because that's what makes us human," Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Not our power, but our choices. Our ability to learn from our mistakes, to choose a better path." Suddenly, Ison's displays lit up with new alerts. "Commander," the AI announced, "I'm detecting quantum communications between Council ships. They're voting." The tension on the bridge could be cut with a knife as they waited. Humanity's future hung in the balance. Would the Council accept their offer of partnership, or would fear drive them to desperate action? High Commander Vextra's image appeared before them, their expression unreadable. The Council has reached a preliminary decision. We propose the formation of a new entity, the Galactic Cooperation Initiative. Equal representation for all species, including humanity. Shared development of technologies, with safeguards to prevent misuse. There will be conditions, Ambassador LIRX added. Protocols for the awakening of additional human installations. Oversight committees with representatives from all species. Guarantees against military applications. Elena looked at her crew, saw the pride and hope in their eyes. We accept, she said, with one condition of our own. Complete transparency. No more hidden histories, no more suppressed truths. Every species deserves to know their full potential, and their responsibility to use it wisely. The quantum communication hub pulsed with energy, ready to share its first transmission across the galaxy. Around them, more human installations continued to awaken, each carrying new pieces of their legacy. But now they wouldn't face these discoveries alone. As the Council fleet stood down and the first diplomatic shuttles prepared to dock with the Remembrance, Elena realized this wasn't just the rebirth of human power, it was the birth of something entirely new. A galaxy where species shared their strengths rather than hoarding them, where ancient mistakes could guide future wisdom. The real work was just beginning. New Dawn. 3 months after the discovery of the Remembrance, Earth's orbital space had transformed. The quantum communication hub floated like a crystalline flower among the satellites and stations, its petals pulsing with data streams that connected the galaxy in ways previously unimaginable. Elena stood in the newly established Galactic Cooperation Initiative headquarters, built within one of humanity's recovered space stations. Through the vast observation window, she watched ships from a dozen species dock and depart, Council diplomats, human scientists, and even representatives from races that had previously kept their distance from galactic politics. The integration process exceeds projected outcomes, Ison's voice came through her neural implant. The AI had become the bridge between humanity's past and present, guiding the awakening of ancient installations at a pace that wouldn't destabilize the galaxy. Though challenges remain. Dr. Chen approached, her hands full of holographic data. The Council's historians are still reeling from the revelations. Every day we discover new aspects of our history that change their understanding of the galaxy's development. And how are they handling it? Elena asked, though she could guess the answer from the increased security patrols around human worlds. About as well as you'd expect, Dr. Wong joined them, his cybernetic enhancements now integrated with recovered human technology. Some species are embracing the changes. Others. He gestured to a holographic news feed showing protests on various Council worlds. The recovery of humanity's legacy had sparked a galaxy-wide philosophical crisis. Species that had defined themselves by their technological superiority now had to confront a new reality. The Venri, once proud of their quantum manipulation technology, discovered that humans had mastered and abandoned similar techniques centuries ago. The Meridian Concordat's biological engineering suddenly seemed primitive compared to what humanity had achieved. Another installation has awakened in the Carina Nebula, Rodriguez reported, walking over. His cybernetic eye now interfaced directly with the quantum network. This one's different, some kind of stellar engineering facility. Elena nodded. Each awakened installation brought new wonders, but also new responsibilities. The Galactic Cooperation Initiative's charter, signed by all major species, established strict protocols for integrating recovered technologies. Every discovery had to be evaluated not just for its benefits, but for its potential for misuse. Commander, Ison interrupted, priority message from the Council Security Committee. They've detected unauthorized attempts to access human technology in the Outer Rim. Multiple species involved. And there it was, the challenge they'd all feared. Despite the agreements and protocols, some would always be tempted by shortcuts to power. The same hunger that had nearly destroyed humanity centuries ago now threatened to destabilize the careful balance they'd established. Show me, Elena commanded. The observation window transformed into a tactical display, showing dozens of attempts to breach secured installations across the galaxy. They don't understand, Dr. Chen said softly. The technology won't work for them. Our ancestors built in safeguards that go beyond simple genetic locks. The technology responds to wisdom, not just DNA. Elena had seen this firsthand. The recovered technology didn't just scan for human genetics, it evaluated the intent and understanding of those trying to use it. Projects driven by conquest or domination simply failed to function. Only those aimed at genuine advancement and cooperation achieved results. That's what makes humanity unique, a new voice joined them. Ambassador Lyrex stepped onto the observation deck, their crystalline form refracting the starlight. Not your technology, but your capacity to learn from failure. To choose a different path. The ambassador gestured to the quantum hub. Look at what you've achieved in just 3 months. Species that never communicated now share knowledge freely. Diseases that plagued worlds for centuries are being cured. And yes, some fear these changes, but more embrace them. Eisen displayed new data, statistics showing how the free exchange of information had already begun transforming societies across the galaxy. Poverty rates dropping, scientific advancement accelerating, ancient conflicts finding peaceful resolutions through improved understanding. It's not perfect, Elena acknowledged. We're still finding our way. As you should, Lyrex responded. Perfect solutions lead to stagnation. It's the journey of discovery, the willingness to face challenges and learn from them, that makes progress meaningful. A new alert flashed across the quantum network, another human installation awakening, this one deep in unexplored space. But unlike 3 months ago, the news brought excitement rather than fear. A joint expedition was already being organized, with ships and scientists from multiple species preparing to explore together. Our ancestors left us more than just technology, Elena said, watching the preparations. They left us a choice. We could have used the remembrance to dominate, to reclaim our position as the galaxy's most powerful species. Instead, you chose to share, to teach, to learn, Lyrex finished. And in doing so, you've helped create something greater than power, understanding. The journey wouldn't be easy. There would be setbacks, conflicts, and challenges ahead. But humanity had learned the most important lesson of all: true power lies not in the strength to stand alone, but in the wisdom to stand together. The stars beckoned, not as territory to be conquered, but as mysteries to be explored. And this time, humanity wouldn't face them alone.